Many Air Canada passengers could soon see their tickets get more expensive. The airline is doing away with free carry-on bags and free seat selection for some passengers. The changes come into effect January 3rd for North American and Sun routes. Travelers who book a basic economy fare will only be allowed to bring one personal item like a purse or a laptop bag on board. Duffel bags and wheeled bags will have to be checked for a $35 fee. WestJet announced similar changes earlier this year. Porter, Flair, and Sunwing also charge for carry-on on some fares. Well, Transport Minister Anita Anand reacted to the news on social media, saying that she is extremely concerned. She says Canadians work hard and save up to travel. They rightly expect excellent service, not extra fees. And we spoke with travelers at Toronto's Pearson Airport to get their reaction to the news. Take a listen.
It's just another fee that I don't know if people can really afford these days. So that's kind of a pain.
It'll make me change my mind for booking Air Canada. There's many other competitors that I'll fly with instead.
I guess this is how the industry is changing these days.
I don't have a big problem. I think you pay for what you get, and if the fares are reasonable, that's the biggest question. If the fares are reasonable, if you pay $35 for a bag and it's still a decent price, it doesn't matter. It's really the whole price that matters, not whether you get charged for a bag.
Duncan Dee is a former chief operating officer of Air Canada and an industry expert. He joins us now from New York City. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Travis.
Okay, so is this just kind of par for the course these days? I mean, I saw this story today and I was like, oh, okay, well, it kind of felt like this was coming.
Yeah, Travis, I mean, I think you've hit the nail on the head. This is par for the course. Air Canada is actually one of the last, if not the last, major North American carrier to introduce a basic fare. So the reaction in the government and some members of the public is a little bit bizarre. Delta Airlines, American Airlines, United in the United States, one of the world's most competitive airline markets, they've been charging customers, making basic economy fares available to customers for many, many years. So, this is not something that's particularly new in the industry. And the fact that Air Canada is now joining the fray should be no surprise to anybody who's been paying attention.
I, kind of remember fondly to 5, even 10 years ago where, most of these things were included. Are those days just simply gone, or will we ever get back to that point?
Look, I mean, there are some airlines that still offer that. Southwest Airlines is notorious for being one of the holdouts in offering 2 free checked bags. When have travelers traveled in recent memory where an airline offered 2 free checked bags as part of their fare? Now, but that's getting rarer and rarer. And that's because customers are becoming much more segmented. Different customers have different priorities and they want fares that reflect their priorities.
So do you think that this is going to help or hurt Air Canada from a public relations standpoint? Because, as you heard there, we went to the airport and there were various opinions on this.
Look, I mean, I think that Air Canada is going to have to communicate this very broadly and much better because clearly a lot of misunderstanding is happening out among the traveling public. And, even the Minister of Transport herself seems to be completely misunderstanding what's happening here. What we've now got at Air Canada, joining airlines throughout the continent, is a basic fare for those travelers who decide that they don't want to have a carry-on bag, that don't want to have a check-in bag. These are travelers, let me just describe potentially who they are. This is potentially a university student who lives at a dorm going home for the weekend, and all they want to bring home is their backpack with their laptop. They can avail themselves of this ultra low fare, this ultra basic fare for exactly what they want. They don't want the frills, they don't want access to the lounges. They're happy with the advanced seat selection that the airline is giving them.
Sure.
And so they get a cheap fare for that.
Okay, well, Duncan, let me just push back on you a bit. But don't they want to be able to take their stuff on the plane other than a purse or a laptop bag as well and not have to pay? Isn't that just kind of kind of a basic thing when you're flying to take a carry-on with you? Why is that
If they want to
considered
bring
an
a carry-on,
extra?
that isn't an extra. If they want to bring a carry-on roller bag on the plane, there's a fare that lets them do that. The basic fare isn't intended for anyone who wants to bring a carry-on bag, and the experience throughout the industry in North America shows that there are, in fact, customers who only want the bare bones service, and in exchange for that bare bones service, they want the bare bones fare, and that's what Air Canada is offering today, just like airlines in the United States, just like WestJet, and many airlines in Europe.
I mean, I trust you saying that there are folks out there that want to travel with just a purse. I haven't personally met anyone. They want to travel with bags. But why is the transport minister incorrect? I know that you said that she's misguided here when she says that Canadians work hard and save up to travel. They expect excellent service, not extra fees. Why do you say that Anita Anand has it wrong?
Because Anita Anand just increased air security charges by 33% last June. Mm-hmm. You know, this is a minister who, it says she's concerned about hardworking Canadians paying high airfares when she herself personally increased the air security charges by 33% when, air travelers haven't seen a 33% improvement in their air security experience. So, I think that the minister needs to look in her own backyard. She needs to look at the fact that airport authorities in Canada are now charging upwards of $40 to every traveler just to set foot inside an airport. This is a country that is in love with government-imposed and government-mandated fees and charges on air travel. Right. But at the end of the day, the only criticism is on the airlines who actually have to fly the planes, hire the pilots, and fill the aircraft with fuel. Well, so, it makes no sense when the minister singles out the airline. Do
you think that we need more competition in this country? I will give you an anecdote. I was just booking a flight to go home for the holidays to Calgary. It cost me more than it would cost me to go to Mexico. Do we need more competitive of an environment in this country to reduce airline fares?
Look, I think it's not even just needing more competition in Canada. We need different types of competition in Canada. In other parts of the world, we've seen the rise of ultra low-cost carriers. Carriers that can, charge travelers £10 between Dublin and Edinburgh. And when you take a look at those £10 fares, which are impossible in Canada, that's really the problem that we're facing. It's not just that we don't have enough competitors. We don't have the right competitors in Canada. And the reason for that is because of the high cost structure that the government of this country has imposed on air travel.
Well, if there's one thing that Canadians like to do, it is to discuss this issue, and I'm sure that we will have you back again to discuss the airline industry a little bit more. Duncan, we appreciate your expertise on this one tonight. That is Duncan Dee, the former Chief Operating Officer of Air Canada and an industry expert joining us from New York City.